Alright, so it's shortly after noon, I believe, and I just put that, started dinner. What it is goat. I'm just checking the time here. Yeah, it's 12:30. I know it's frustrating maybe watching me cook a lot of the times because it's hard to tell exactly what I'm doing or what I'm putting into a dish or what I'm making at all. This is goat, and I'm making basically like a Moroccan goat, although what you probably have figured out by now is that I don't follow recipes. I'm not, you know, honoring or sticking to authentic culture of any kind. I'm inspired by other cultures and their foods, and like to incorporate that into my diet, as much variety as possible. But I don't fully research and do exactly what traditional recipes call for. But also, I don't have the ingredients typically. So what I'm doing here is something that I do really like. I love the flavor of garam masala and cumin and coriander and all those real intense spices. And I also like goat. Now goat is one of those meats that's actually makes sense for a lot of people. It's fairly sustainable, in other words, because goats can forage in places that other animals can't live, and in fact in places that you can't even grow vegetables. So it's quite sustainable. It's a great way of converting the sun's energy into plants and then into meat that we can get calories from. Because like I said, nothing else can typically, they can survive where other animals can't and where other palatable plants can't. Let's put it that way. Or they can convert plants that we would have a hard time converting into useful calories. They have a better, they can convert those that sun energy from those plants into meat and organs and things that we can then benefit from. So there's a lot of cultures that live or rely very heavily on goats for milk and then cheese and any kind of dairy products, but also meat and meat products, because like I said, it's sustainable. Now I have a few friends that grow goats on the sort of the fringes of their farms, the areas that are not very productive, not good at growing hay for their cattle or sheep or for growing vegetables. They'll have goats just kind of wander around and eat the weeds that everything else is leaving. So I like it. It's not for everybody. I know a lot of people here in Canada in particular. It's not a meal. It's actually not a meat that's on our typical meal plan. It's not something that we typically eat. I mean, lots of people do, of course, but it's not what I would say is in the normal course of a Canadian's diet. Like I said, it's kind of Moroccan inspired what I'm doing. Sometimes I'll put dates in there if I have dates. I do like something sweet to go into that dish, although my palate is not, I don't crave sweets, I don't crave sugar, so I tend to like more savory dishes, and I like onion and garlic, so you'll see me put that in just about everything. So that's the reason typically also that I don't share my recipes with you, is because I don't even have a recipe. I'm literally finding what I have in the kitchen. I know at this point in my life what flavors I like and how to combine those. I'll throw those into a pot or pan or whatever I'm cooking in, and the longer the better to incorporate those flavors, and it usually turns out pretty good. And usually people that I cook for, like my family, like it as well. So I think it's flavorful enough that it's not just suited to my palate, that most people would like it. Just to answer a couple other questions about my diet as far as the meat that I eat up here. I know it's uncomfortable for a lot of people. Hunting is uncomfortable, and harvesting of animals for food. I know there's a lot of vegans and vegetarians that watch this channel. Most of them don't. Most of you don't have an issue with me eating what I eat here because it's local, it's sustainable, it's from the land. I think that's a good thing to keep in mind. I think telling somebody like me up here in the Canadian wilderness that I shouldn't eat bear is like me telling somebody who lives in the Caribbean on an island not to eat fish, or somebody who lives in the panhandle not to eat shrimp and rice and anything else that can grow in like an estuary. The Inuit don't eat seal or walrus or whale. Like it's all regional. What's most sustainable for you in your region is local food. That wouldn't be wise for somebody else. I wouldn't encourage somebody in Southern California to eat bear when most of our vegetables and fruits that are actually shipped up here are actually grown there. So I wouldn't encourage you to go and harvest bear to eat, because that's not local, that's not sustainable. So that's my food philosophy. That's what I believe. I have no problem with vegetarianism or veganism. I support that. I think it's great if you can do that and you're in a region that is sustainable. But if you live in a northern climate and you're eating any kind of soybean product, for example, that's being clear cut in Brazil, they're clear cutting forests in Brazil to plant and grow and then ship up here, that's not sustainable at all. That's actually far worse than eating a local diet of harvested game or fish. And we do have an abundance of fish and game here. Our populations are very heavily managed, very well managed in my opinion, although that's open for argument. But I think our game managers do the best that they can to understand the populations and then structure hunting seasons and limits accordingly. So, like I said, that's my food philosophy, and I think, in my opinion, it's a good one. And it's not for everyone. I absolutely know that, and I would not encourage everybody, 7 billion people, to go out and start hunting and living off the land. It's just not sustainable. We need this industrial, commercial, agricultural system to feed the population at the level that we're at. And for a lot of people, that does mean more vegetables, or almost all vegetables, or completely vegetable based diet. And I support that. Kelly, what are you doing? It's not for you. Lunch tomorrow. only 6:30, but Callie's out like a light. She has a gift here from somebody that we got in the mail that I want to give to her. I'll wait till she wakes up on her own, which I'm sure she'll do once I start eating dinner. She's already eaten twice today. I don't know if she's going to eat something else again. And I am, like I said earlier, not laziness stopping me from making naan bread, but I keep forgetting to keep back some sourdough starter, or starting some starter for something like sourdough bread or biscuits, or pizza dough and naan bread in that case. But I need to eat this up anyway. It's 3 or 4 days old, so I'll just have that with this stew, or the lamb and the rice. But I think what I'll do is toast these and put some butter on them too. Ended up adding 1 sweet potato just to give it a little bit of sweetness, a little bit more, just to help thicken it up too. It was a sweet potato I've had down in the cold storage in the floor for, I don't know, like 2 months. I don't think if I left it too much longer I wasn't going to be eating it at all. So, make some use of it. This is rice. This rice is pretty well ready too, so I think I'll put some bread on and then eat. What do you think, Callie? You want to open your gift? I think you have a new toy here. Is that for you? Who's that from? Callie, this is our favorite toy to play with. We hope you enjoy yours just as much, Callie. From your fur friends, Polar Paws Official. Polar_paws_official. I think that's their Instagram handle. Is this for you? Put that off too. There you go. You want to take it out? You're a character. What do you like about these things? Squeal. Want out? No, I'm not going. Oh, you want to take that out? Okay. Holy, snowing. Staying out or coming in? It's having fun out there. Yeah. So much flavor in there. If you haven't tried goat and you're going to ask me what it tastes like, I'm gonna have a hard time telling you, because I guess if you've eaten lamb, I wouldn't say it tastes like lamb, but I'd say it has the same intensity of flavor, which can be, I think, puts a lot of people off if you're not used to eating sort of stronger tasting or stronger smelling meats. Lamb, goat, and some wild game has that flavor that if you're used to just eating mainly beef and chicken, then you might find this hard to adjust to at first. It's hard to explain, but I'm sure if you if you live in a culture where this is a common thing, you probably find other meats like beef maybe bland. And when you add all these spices, I mean, there's just so much flavor. This place smells amazing right now. The whole cabin smells like I don't know, Moroccan restaurant. Like I said, I really like it, but I do like stronger meat, so I can't say for sure if most people would like this or not. Just to tell you the ingredients quickly, in case I forget like I normally do to write the recipe or write the ingredients in on the screen as I'm adding them to the dish. Start off with cubed goat meat, put that into the pot with some butter. Kelly's trying to trade me her toy for some of this. Simmered that on the stove for, ended up being for like 2 hours because I was working on the sauna. And then what else did I put in there at that time? I put the onions, the garlic, cumin, coriander, salt, pepper, cloves. I think that's it. Simmered that for a couple of hours, and then when I came back in, I added diced tomatoes and a ton of garam masala. It might be it now too. Oh, and red pepper, the dried red peppers. Put 2 whole peppers in. And then near the end I added the sweet, and I put a little bit of maple syrup in, just because I have quite a bit of maple syrup from last spring making it, and I don't make a lot of sweet dishes, so I tend to add it a little bit to a bunch of different random things like meat and chili and stuff like that. So that was gives this a little bit of sweetness. Then I just poured it over wild rice and long grain brown rice.